Hello all, welcome to MAS e-learning channel. In our previous session, we have discussed about various paintings that was developed in our ancient times. Now in this session, we will be discussing about various architecture and sculptures. Now cave architecture was one of the earliest forms created by Hindus, Jains and Buddhists who produced whole temples from rock. One of the most famous rock-cut temple is the Kailasa temple located in the Ellora caves in Maharashtra, India, and known for its size and sculpture treatment beginning around the 5th century BC. It was large freestanding temples emerged. Now in Indian architecture often included religious elements such as altar and shelter for worshippers and seeking enlightenment. Much like paintings, Indian architecture took on various styles and forms over the years. Many of the structures they have become globally renewed, such as Taj Mahal, India Gate, Red Fort, etc., and some South Indian temples. Architectural styles have changed over time and modern structures reflect influences and from a variety of countries as a result of India's global discourse. So let's talk about Indian cave architecture and South Indian temples. So in cave architecture we have Aurangabad caves, Ajanta and Ellora caves that includes 12 Buddhist, 17 Hindus and 5 Jain temples. The oldest rock cut architecture is found in Barbar caves that is situated in Bihar. Earliest cave temples include the Bhaja caves, Karla caves and the Kanheri caves. If we talk about our famous ancient South Indian temples, we have Ramanatha Swami temple that is in Rameshwaram, Venkateshwara temple that is in Tirupati, Meenakshi temple in Madurai, Mahabaleshwar temple in Gokarna and Ekambakareshwar temple that is in Kanchipuram. Now let's move on to our famous ancient sculpture. So sculpture continues to be a favored medium for artistic expression in India, primarily as a form of religious art. Now buildings were profusely adorned and subject matter largely consisted of abstracted human forms used to illustrate the principles of Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism. Female deities such as Shakti, Kali, Brahma were often depicted in these Indian sculptures. They extend from the Indus Valley civilization where terracotta figurines were some of the first sculptures to be produced. Throughout the modern dynasty, which spanned from 4th to 2nd century BC, large stone pillars appeared at the crossroad and important sites. They often had lotus-shaped tops and figures of lions, which were symbols of imperial rule. Many large stone images of gods were produced during this period, and it is followed by smaller versions that were placed on Buddhist monuments. Over the succeeding centuries, a wide range of styles and traditions subsequently flourished throughout different areas, and one of the most prominent structures is the Elephanta caves. It is having a collection of cave temples predominantly depicted to the Hindu god Shiva, constructed from the mid-5th to 6th century AD. By the 9th and the 10th century, Indian sculpture had reached a form that changed relatively little compared to what it is today and was used primarily as a part of architecture decoration. In the early 20th century, Indian sculpture adapted to Western academic art traditions and styles, and they were greatly influenced by realist artists who worked on secular objects at British art schools. So they were influenced by the Britishers. There was a significant departure from ancient and traditional forms depicting myths and deities. As we talk about in 1940s and 50s, painter and sculptor Ram Kanikar Baij worked to fuse both Western art and traditional Indian forms, experimenting with unconventional materials such as concrete, gravel and cement. This experimentation lives on in contemporary Indian sculpture. which equally borrows from traditional techniques and subject matter while exploring new approaches. As you can see, these are the images of Ram Kinkar Baij and gilt copper alloy of Fikar. Now, there are some notable Indian sculptures like Dancing Girl of Mohenjo-daro. This bronze statue is believed to be nearly 4,500 years old. This is the first picture. It is made up of delicate metal and it depicts a young girl with a plethora of bangles on her arms, similar to that of woman from Banjara community which has its origin in Rajasthan. Next we have Ashoka pillars. The second picture is Ashoka pillar. Now it was constructed by Mauryan Emperor Ashoka in the 3rd century and this series of columns is scattered throughout the India. The most famous pillar, the lion, capital of Sarnath, features 4 lions on their hind legs with their backs touching. It was adopted as India's national emblem in 1950. Third is Ajanta caves. They are situated in the Maharashtra region and this group of rock-cut Buddhist caves includes a variety of cave paintings and sculptures and it was constructed in the 2nd century. They are largely considered to be India's best surviving specimens of art and architecture. Now as you can see in these 3 pictures, Dancing Doll of Mohenjo-daro and Ashoka pillar. Now if we summarize, from historic rock carvings to contemporary interpretation of traditional styles, Indian and South Asian art continues to demonstrate the breadth of artistic and cultural influence that has informed and shaped its aesthetic over the course of Indian history. While traditional works of art showcase religious motifs and mythological depictions as we have seen in the Madhubani painting, Varli painting, Pithora art and all, contemporary works match the cultural and ideological diversity of the nation. So far we have discussed about the brief history of our Indian art. In our upcoming session, we will be taking Western history and development of Western art. I hope you like the session. Thank you.